Writing a top personal statement is a lot easier than I know it may seem or sound. And I've broken this down into another 3 steps like in some of the other guides. The first is you first need to finalize the courses you want to apply to. You can't write an essay convincing admissions teams that you're really passionate and interested about a course when you yourself don't even know what you want to study yet. The second is that you need to plan your supercurriculars and plan what you want to talk about in your statement in advance. There's no use in doing a work experience in finance and then reading a book about accounting when you end up applying to economics. You'd be surprised how many times I read that every single year. And then finally, we talk about how you actually write good paragraphs in the personal statement. The new 3-question style, which happened last cycle, question 1, question 2, and question 3 on the UCAS form, is quite confusing. And it's very misleading too. You'll find that Cambridge's advice, LSE's advice, a lot of top universities, they want you to kind of ignore what UCAS is suggesting with the question prompts. We're going to cover that all in this video. And the first thing I wanted to talk about, again, is your UCAS choices. In our course choice video, I talked about finalizing your choices. And I told you that you need to consider the modules that you'd be studying in each of the courses. I told you that you need to think about the grades it takes to get in. And then I told you about the overall application strategy, how many stretch courses, how many safety universities. But there's one more consideration, and that is your courses all need to be similar enough that you can write one essay. Because remember, in UCAS, you can only write one essay that will hit all 5, that goes to all 5 of your universities. It means you can't apply for maths in one place and geography in another. You need to be applying to similar courses. We need to make sure there's enough alignment between the courses so you can go ahead and write a statement which is relevant in every single sentence to all of the 5 courses you're applying to. And I'll show you in a bit how a personal statement builder tool helps to make sure that you do this. So, once you've decided the courses that you want to apply to, now we can start planning your personal statement and planning your supercurriculars. Let's say that you want to study maths, okay? There's 2 things you need across in a statement, regardless if it's maths or any other subject. You need to show that you have a real interest and passion for the subject, that you really want to go and study it at university. And the second is, you need to show that because of that, you've gone above and beyond what you had learned in the school syllabus to go and explore the topic, explore the subject, be it through, then this is supercurriculars, books, lectures, podcasts, presentations, competitions, anything. A supercurricular is anything you have done to go above and beyond your school syllabus, i.e. the school curriculum, that's why it's supercurricular, to learn more about the subject you want to apply to at university. A common misconception, I get this with so many parents, so many students every year, it is not about how cool or flashy the supercurricular itself is. It doesn't matter if you've done a really exclusive internship or work experience at this boutique investment bank. It doesn't matter if you are doing this essay competition that's world-renowned. What matters is what you learnt. Okay, I will add a slight caveat. If you win this really cool essay competition, that does help a little bit. But especially for Oxford, if you do win an Oxford, if you win a Cambridge competition and then go to Cambridge, or win an Oxford competition and go to Oxford, that does help the application a bit. But aside from that, it doesn't make any difference at all. Not at all. I had a call recently with a student who talked about getting published, with academic research. Doesn't make a difference at all. What matters is what did you learn from the supercurriculars? And I'll show you again more how you write about this later on in the video. So when you are going to study maths, for example, let's pick 3 different topics within maths. Maybe you could be interested in logic. Maybe you could be interested in circle theories. Maybe you could be interested in, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. You pick 3 topics which are relevant to all the different, graph theory, there's another one, to all the different, so it's called university courses you're applying to, i.e. if you're applying to maths everywhere, can I study graph theory in all the maths degrees? You want to pick 3 that are relevant to all of them so that when you go and learn about them and write about it in your personal statement, all the admissions teams are looking, oh, okay, well, Isaac is clearly interested in maths and the types of things that he's gone above and beyond to learn about, he will be doing at university, which means he's going to have a great time, he's going to do a great job. So the final step is actually writing the statement. And so now we're going to take a pause and we're going to head to the platform so I can show you how to do a great job on picking the right topics, finding good supercurriculars, and then how to write a good statement. And I'm going to the platform because we have a lot of free guides on how you write a good paragraph, and it makes it easier for me to show you. Heading on to the Chat University platform, looking onto the sidebar, we are going to go to the personal statement section. you will notice that I have my 5 top choices in my shortlist on the dashboard. This is very key. Personal Statement Builder Pro does not work unless you've got your 5 choices, because as we said, how can you write a good essay? How can you plan a good personal statement until you know the 5 courses you want to apply to? Once you've done that, the Personal Statement Builder will recommend topics which are relevant to all 5 of the courses you're applying to. It goes and it looks at the course descriptions, it looks at the courses you're applying to. For some courses, we also look at module lists, and it says, great, for these 5 courses you're applying to, pick 3 to 6 of these different topic areas that you would be genuinely interested in learning about. That kind of why you're drawn to the subject in the first place, and select them, and then we can move on to the next step. Now, if you don't use Personal Statement Builder Pro, you need to go through the same exercise, looking at the courses, figuring out, well, what topics could I talk about which would be relevant to all 5? We just take the heavy lifting and do that for you in Personal Statement Builder Pro. Heading over now to the activity section, for every single one of those topic areas, we have built a database of basically thousands of supercurriculars. I believe we're nearly 100,000 different supercurriculars, so no 2 people have the same application. And for example, for this applicant, and this is my profile, interested in studying management-related degrees, management accounting is a concept which comes up across all of those 5. And so we have academic papers you could read, books, his personal project ideas. Because again, a supercurricular is all about what you learn. So you could decide, oh yeah, I'm going to analyze the break-even point of a real student-led venture and present it to my teacher, to class, to actually just go through the project itself. I don't have to present it to anyone. But the key thing will then be, if I'm just add this to my profile, what did I learn? So what's really important, and you can make notes in Personal Statement Builder Free or in Pro, is you need to make strong notes of all your supercurriculars, paying close attention to these things you see on screen here, which is, what did you learn? What are some technical details and concepts which would be relevant if you were studying management accounting at university? If you're not sure, then learn about it. So for example, if you did this thing, what was it here? It was building a budgeting model for a small fictional business. Go and learn about what is a budgeting model? I'm not sure off the top of my head. Let's go on ChatGPT, go on Claude, ask it to find us a lecture I can watch. So, you don't have to just do one supercurricular when you're learning around a topic. It's fine to do a couple, and you can mention them all, you just mention a few. The key here is you want to have a genuine desire to learn about the topics you pick, so that you go and learn about them, you make some notes, following our bullet points here, and then we move to the compose section, which is where you write your statement. So it's time for me to answer some questions about writing your statement. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the UCAS 3 questions. They are very misleading. So for those who don't know, in the last few years, actually it's only from last cycle, UCAS's personal statement is now in 3 questions. Question 1, question 2, question 3, which are basically saying, why do you want to study the course? What are things you've done at school? And what are things you've done outside of school? This is quite misleading because universities do not want to know about what you learned at school, because everyone does the same. Everyone studies the same A-levels or IB subject, or if you're doing the French BAC or you're doing CBSE in India, it's all the same. The caveat to when you can talk about things you've done at school is if you've done like coursework where you picked a topic to learn about and so no one else has done it, it's just you, or you do an EPQ or any other sort of your extended essay for IB, any time that you've gone and kind of learned something yourself, you directed the research, then you can talk about it, even if it's from school. So you kind of disregard the questions. You'll notice that on Personal Statement Builder, we don't have the question 1, 2, and 3 because we don't want to confuse you. Instead, we separate the parts of the personal statement in the way that you really should. An introduction, a body section where you talk about your supercurriculars, and a conclusion. So let's talk about the introduction. Your introduction should be about 400 to 800 characters long, as you can see here. It's okay to be a bit over that, but you don't want to be under that because then it gets a bit too small. And again, this could be a childhood memory that sparked your interest in your subject. It could be a book you read, a lecture you went to watch, a podcast, or something you heard on the radio that initially sparked your interest and you want to explain that. All right, let's move to the body section and talk about the real meat of the personal statements, your supercurriculars. So over here, let me show you how you add supercurriculars on the software. You literally add a paragraph, and this will be the list of all the activities which you've logged in your supercurricular section. It's not just the ones that we've recommended for users that aren't on Pro or are on Pro, have got their own supercurriculars. You can also add them here. You just have to add them to the activity section and supercurricular section first. Something I will note is that you will see that things you add in the work experience section here do not come into the compose section. And that is because of a very common misconception and issue, that a mistake that students make, which is majority of work experiences are not relevant to courses that students apply to. It's very common. I see this. I always do the example of economics and these subjects because a lot of students apply. It's some of the most common degrees. doing a finance internship or finance like 1 week work experience is not related to an economics degree. And most of the times, there aren't many work experiences which are directly relevant to degrees. I mean, some examples where it does fit is like shadowing an MP or working in your local council. Like this would be relevant if you're applying to politics or international relations. So there are cases where it does work. The majority of the times they do not. And that's why it doesn't come. If, of course, you ever wanted to add a paragraph that wasn't, you could just add a custom paragraph over here. So when it comes to actually writing your paragraphs, I want to draw your attention to this, our writing tips. This is also, like you can see this in the free version of the tool, the paid version of the tool. And every single paragraph that you write on supercurriculars, I want you to follow this structure. Why was it that you initially wanted to learn about management accounting in this example? What did you do to learn? In this case, it would be, I read this academic paper. What did you learn from doing that, reading that academic paper? And be very specific here. Technical details, concepts, like jargon that's relevant to your field. That's what you want to kind of use, and terminology you want to use, and then explain. And how is this relevant? In the broader spectrum, so we're applying to management here, right? So management is about learning how to make decisions that drive businesses forward. In this case, it'd be towards how accounting data can be useful in that pursuit. And so how do these theories and technical details and concepts you've learned about, how does that help a manager or a leader in a business? That is how you should think about this implications section. And the final thing, this is optional, you don't always have to do it. It's good to put it in 1 or 2 of your supercurriculars, is maybe, I learned about management accounting, but I'm really interested now in exploring financial accounting further at university, tying it back to your desire to study at university. So what this means is that you end up spending, you have to go into quite a lot of depth over breadth, as I may have said before, when it comes to writing your personal statement paragraphs. And that's why you only really end up having space for 2 to 4, most commonly 3. We do recommend that you pick a few more than 2 or 3 topics when you start, because you might decide, I did like learning about innovation management, but there was nothing that I really want to write about in my statement. So it's good to have a few extra and then pick the very best supercurriculars and learnings and takeaways. So on the right, let me zoom in and let's take a look a bit more of what Personal Statement Builder Pro does to help you structuring your paragraphs. So you'll see the exact same curiosity spark, actions taken that we saw in the writing tips. But what we do is, because we know about your supercurriculars, we've got access to the notes that you've logged as you're writing about them in the activity section. And do remember that you need to follow these tips when you're making notes, because it'll help make sure that all those technical details and relevant concepts that I want you to talk about when you're writing the statement, if you kind of make notes of those as you're going through it, it'll make it a lot easier when it comes to writing. So back over here, what we do is we basically look at the courses you're applying to, we look at what we know about your supercurriculars, what you've told us and what we know about them, and we use that to kind of okay, well, we know that this degree is about this, here's what you've learned, here's the perfect way to link those two together, and we'll help you write that statement. We don't write it for you. You can look at this to get inspiration and use it to help you figure out how you can write your paragraph. This was our biggest hit last year. Everyone loved using Personal Statement Builder. It looks slightly different. Last year it wasn't as good as it is this year. And it basically means that you can write your statement in a week. If you've read your books, listened to your lectures, or done all of these things, with Personal Statement Builder, you can very quickly get what you need to done without kind of second guessing yourself or thinking, is this the right thing to do? Is this not the right thing to do? And so once you've done that, you'll start to get a feel for your overall character. That's why we have character counts all over the place. You'll see over there. And the last thing you need to do is just add a small closing paragraph. In your conclusion, you basically want to reaffirm what you said in your introduction. That's why we have it shown here. Where if in the introduction you said that, I'm really passionate about, in management's sake, I'm really keen to learn how managers can use both qualitative and quantitative data to help make decisions that lead to business growth, you'd kind of want to say something like that again in the conclusion, but in different words. Because think about our story here. I started by saying I'm really passionate about entrepreneurship and about learning how managers can make strong decisions, because I always enjoyed watching shows like The Apprentice, and I've tried starting my own businesses in the past, and I want to learn how to get better. And then you've talked about things you've done to learn about this. I learned about management accounting, I learned about innovation management, I learned about supply chain management, or maybe I learned about the use of different financial concepts to understand how to evaluate investments. This is all topics you take in management, and it was in our topic list earlier. So the final conclusion is I've had such a great time learning about all these different topics and disciplines and concepts that managers can use to drive business growth, and I'm really excited to do more of it at university. You reaffirm your message. And that is the statement. The last thing to do is to figure out how you're going to split your paragraphs across the three. And so introduction, why this course, and why you're suitable. So this is the official questions that UCAS suggests. It's not how we see it. If you actually go look at UCAS's guidance, they say it doesn't matter where you put your paragraphs. They don't care about the order. When universities get the personal statement, they read it all in one go. So don't worry too much where things go. The only thing I say is Q1 is obviously your introduction, so why you're interested in studying the course. Q2 and Q3, put your supercurriculars along there, and then just add the conclusion at the end of Q3 as well. One last thing to say is that, so normally when I do calls with students, I say that you can, for Q2, maybe do more academic supercurriculars like a book or a lecture. Q3, more practical ones you could do like an essay competition or a presentation or a work experience. Remember, again, only if it's a relevant one. And that's about all there is to the personal statement. We're going to be adding an FAQ section soon to the site, so if there's any questions, you can go there. You feel free to comment on the TikTok videos. And if you want to get your personal statement reviewed, there's two options for that right now on the platform here. You can book a statement call with me and the team, and then there will also be an option to just do a virtual review. You just submit the statement, and it's sort of marked, and you get feedback on it and how to improve asynchronously. That's all for Personal Statement Builder. If you have any questions, get in touch with the team. There's also the support email, the contact email over here, and I'll see you in the next one.